From the PEP Radio Newsroom, this is the afternoon news for October 6, 2025. The Supreme Court on Monday rejected an appeal from Ghislaine Maxwell, the imprisoned former girlfriend of Jeffrey Epstein. As is their custom, the justices did not explain why. On the first day of their new term, the justices declined to take up a case that would have drawn renewed attention to the sordid sexual abuse saga after the Trump administration sought to tamp down criticism over its refusal to publicly release more of its investigative files. Lawyers for Maxwell, a British socialite, argued that she never should have been tried or convicted for her role in luring teenage girls to be sexually abused by Epstein, a New York financier. She is serving a 20-year prison term, though she was moved from a low-security federal prison in Florida to a minimum security prison camp in Texas after she was interviewed in July by Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche. A top aide is calling the protests in Portland an organized terrorist attack. Stephen Miller accused the demonstrators of seeking to overturn votes with violence and insisted it's part of a campaign to overturn the 2024 election results with violence. It is the absolute moral and constitutional duty of the federal government to stop this terrorism, defend the lives and safety of federal officers, and protect the American citizen and nation by ensuring the full and unrestricted enforcement of federal immigration law in all 50 states, Miller wrote on the social media site X. Turning to other news, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff of California notes that the Trump administration has stopped congressionally approved spending, which essentially undermines the value of Democrats trying to seek budget compromises, since the administration could later block the spending of money from any deal. We need both to address the healthcare crisis, and we need some written assurance in the law. I won't take a promise that they're not going to renege on any deal we make, Schiff said on Sunday. In news from China, Snowstorm has trapped hundreds of hikers on Mount Everest during China's national holiday. Rescuers were helping hundreds of hikers trapped by heavy snow at tourist campsites on a slope of Mount Everest in Tibet, Chinese state media said. About 350 hikers had reached a meeting point in Tingri country, and rescuers were in contact with another 200, state broadcaster CCTV said late Sunday. There was no immediate update on rescue efforts on Monday. The hikers were trapped at an elevation of more than 4,900 meters, which is roughly 16,000 feet, according to an earlier report from Jinmu News, a Chinese online site. Mount Everest is about 29,000 feet tall. A hiker who rushed to descend before snow blocked the way told Jinmu News that others still on the mountain told him the snow was 3 feet deep and had crushed tents. Turning to Pennsylvania news, the stakes in the Pennsylvania election this fall are very much the same as they were in Wisconsin last spring. Partisan control of the highest court in a crucial presidential swing state. In November, Pennsylvania voters will decide whether 3 state Supreme Court justices, all Democrats, should keep their seats for another 10 years on a court that has been at the center of pivotal fights over voting rights, redistricting, and elections. The state's Supreme Court has a 5-2 Democratic majority, so an across-the-board loss for Democrats on November 4th could leave the court in a partisan 2-2 stalemate for 2 years, including through next year's midterm elections. A big difference from Wisconsin's Supreme Court race earlier this year is that Pennsylvania doesn't feature candidates running against each other. Instead, it's what is called a retention election, in which voters are asked to vote yes or no on whether to give the current justices another term. The incumbents aren't identified by party affiliation. The 3 justices, Christine Donahue, Kevin Dougherty, and David Weck, are all backed by the Democratic Party in their bids for retention. And that's the news at this hour. If you are watching our news videos on YouTube, please subscribe to our channel. PEP Radio is available on the Live 365 app, the PEP Radio page at paequality.com, Roku, and Alexa. Up next, we have the Meadville area weather forecast here on PEP Radio.